start this hour with the unfolding situation in Iran. And meanwhile, during a visit to India, German Chancellor Frederick Merz has addressed the ongoing unrest, expressing concern over escalating violence against protesters in Iran. Merz has warned that a government relying on force solely to maintain power risks its survival, signalling that Tehran's clerical authorities could be nearing the end of their rule. Let's listen in to the statements.
Mich besorgen im Augenblick die Nachrichten über eine immer höhere Gewaltbereitschaft der Polizei, der sogenannten Revolutionsgarden in Iran gegen die eigene Bevölkerung. Ich will die Gelegenheit nutzen, noch einmal das Mullah-Regime aufzufordern, diese Gewalt sofort einzustellen. Wenn sich ein Regime nur noch mit Gewalt an der Macht halten kann, dann ist es faktisch am Ende. Ich gehe davon aus, dass wir jetzt hier auch gerade die letzten Tage und Wochen dieses Regimes sehen.
Meanwhile, Iranian judicial authorities have reportedly moved to strengthen their response to the unrest. Special court divisions have been established to handle cases of those accused of rioting and terrorism. Moreover, Iranian authorities have blamed foreign actors, while Tehran's foreign minister has said that several armed elements appeared among protesters. The United Nations has also weighed in, with the human rights chief strongly voicing his concerns at the mounting violence against peaceful demonstrators. Let's listen in.
We are horrified by the mounting violence directed by security forces at protesters across Iran, as reports indicate hundreds have been killed and thousands arrested. The killing of peaceful demonstrators must stop. The labelling of protesters as terrorists to justify violence against them is unacceptable. We urge the Iranian authorities to halt immediately all forms of violence and repression against peaceful protesters and to restore full access to the internet and telecommunications services. We're getting information from various sources on the ground. These are reliable sources. The number that we're hearing is hundreds, and that's what's been reported. I cannot give you a precise, verified number. That's not possible. We're just not in.
Professor Rohan Gunaratne joins us now, an international affairs expert joining us live from Singapore. Professor Gunaratne, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. Of course, we are now seeing the world respond to the information coming out of Iran. Of course, information is being drip-drabbed to the international press. However, now thousands are feared dead in Iran's protest crackdown, along now with an internet blackout that's lasted over 80 hours. State TV there says that these protests are calming down. Do you believe that the momentum is keeping up in the country, despite these devastating reports coming out of Iran, of the sheer brutality of the way that the local security forces are dealing with these demonstrations?
Thomas, the last 48 hours, I have reviewed the footage and also the photographs that have been transmitted out of Iran using Starlink and other platforms, because there's an internet blackout. But based on that imagery, I come to the conclusion that the Iranian regime elements are using brute force against the protesters. As you rightly said, more than 1,000 protesters have been killed, maimed, and injured, and these protests are going to escalate. I do not see a decrease in protests. Also, this protest is an organic protest. It is something that brew because of the situation in Iran, the economic situation. It will only worsen because the international community is also very keen that the Ayatollah Khomeini regime is replaced by a secular regime. So I believe that these protests will grow every day until there is a regime change.
And we've had a bold claim from the German Chancellor saying that we are witnessing the final days of the regime. If that is to be true, what options lay ahead for the Iranian people?
The Western security and intelligence assessment that the German Chancellor shared is very accurate. there is no way for this regime to rule continuously. But it is likely that it may go on the protests may go on for several days or several weeks. But certainly 80% of the Iranian people are now opposed to the regime, and also Iranians who are living outside. We have seen demonstrations both in continental Europe, in the UK, in the United States, in Canada, against the Iranian regime. So I don't think that this regime can last over the long term. Certainly it can survive in the immediate term by applying force. But Trump himself is very determined to use military force against the Iranian regime in the event they continue to harm the protesters.
And what could be the outcomes of that, Professor Gunaratne? Of course, we've also heard Iran say that they will indeed retaliate against both Israel and United States military bases in the region. Does that not spiral into a more regional war?
Iranian government has restored and rebuilt a lot of its capabilities after the Israel-Iran war, and also after the United States attacked the Iranian nuclear sites. But again, those capabilities are not the same level as the capabilities Iran had before the Israel-Iran war. So there could be limited strikes based on their current capabilities. But if you look at the US and the Israeli capabilities, Iran has no chance. So there could be a war, but it will be a short and a swift war where eventually the Iranian regime will lose the fight.
And what about the Iranian people? We've seen some of those leaked video footages of body bags lining the streets. Of course, the Iranian people are going through economic woes and now violence. What can you tell us about the humanitarian situation in the country?
The situation on the ground has worsened. As you rightly said, we have seen very significant deaths, not only on the streets, but almost every hospital has dead and injured people. And of course, the Iranian government has taken very extreme measures to control these protesters using brute force. And of course, their criminal justice and the prison system has voiced that they will pass death penalty for some of the protesters. So I think that all these measures, all these developments are not going to help the Iranian regime of the Ayatollahs to hold on to power. It's a question of time that the mullahs will go home, and the existing regime that has been in power since 79 will be replaced. There will be this regime, the days, as the German Chancellor said, are numbered. And I think that the worst case scenario is that it will take a few more weeks, but it is a protest that Iran is unable to reverse.
Professor Gunaratne, do stay with us. Of course, we'll continue to inform our viewers of all the developments coming out of that situation. We move now next over to Syria, and the army has ordered Kurdish forces to withdraw from a wide area east of